Yeah, what's going on, everybody? We just got the 11.16 update. Pretty short patch. We have the new skin. So we have two new skins. We have the Crunch Black Ink skin, which is a rare. It does look pretty cool. Pretty good looking skin. Then we have the Drago, the green alien Drago skin. Kind of reminds me of like a Mandalorian. But these are going to be two rare skins. We got some discounted skins. And then looking at the chart here, so we have a couple of buffs, some nerfs, and then we have some item changes as well. So going over the hero balance changes. So for the nerfs, we got phase. Phase, the right click, the ability that links on, rather than it lasting 25 seconds, is gonna be 10 seconds now. So Xena's gonna be getting hit pretty hard. So the leap through time, the right click, the decreasing the attack speed, decreasing the duration of the attack speed, the Q skill, where that you get the shield, you do your slash, you get the shield. They're decreasing the shield on that. Whenever you hit multiple targets, we're decreasing the shield on that as well. The knock up, they're going to decrease the knock up duration. And then the ultimate. So before the ultimate, decrease the target's physical defense by 0.4. Now it's going to be 0.15 to 0.35 when you level it up. And then the final basic attack damage is going to get decreased. And then the overall scaling is going to get decreased as well. So actually a pretty big nerf to Xena. A lot of her power is getting nerfed on this. Next up for the nerf is going to be Grux. The right click, the 0.85 is going to be down to 0.72. They're going to decrease the stun duration on his ultimate and decrease the value of the ult. This isn't really too much, 0.35 to 0.6. Now it's 0.3 to 0.55. But just overall kind of decreasing the his overall damage on the ultimate and then the right click as well. Now surprisingly, seeing Faye get nerfed here. Faye's really good. Like, her clear is really good, but just surprising that she is actually getting a nerf. I thought that's kind of what they wanted her to be, is a really good clear. So her right click, the forest wills, the right click is going to go down in base damage. They are going to decrease the explosion damage, but they are going to increase the damage coefficient. And then last on the nerf list is going to be Twin Blast. Q skill, the base damage is going to get nerfed. On the Q skill, the grenades, they're going to be decreasing the overall scaling on it, and then the ultimate is going to get decreased by 0.03 scaling on his ult. Now, these are the only nerfs, which I'm really surprised because I feel like Adele needed to be nerfed and Crunch as well. They recently buffed Crunch, which is really weird, but he is really good, and so is Adele. So I'm really surprised that we didn't see those nerfs. Those two are really still up there, in my opinion, as like one of the better characters in the game. So I'm really surprised that we didn't get to see a nerfs on them. Next patch will hopefully get nerfs for those two characters. Let me know what you guys think about these changes here. Okay, now we're going to get into buffs. So these are going to get buffs. Aurora recently got nerfed. Now they're going to go back and rebuff her. So the ultimate, the Glacier Explosion, the ultimate, they're going to increase the radius, the barrier, decrease the cooldown on that, decrease the mana, and then decrease the base damage of the hero's max health, 0.032 to 0.038. And then Narbash. Narbash is getting kind of like not a buff, but more of like a quality of life. They changed his E skill to not be disrupted by an attack that applies debuffs. Cool little change there for Narbash. Murdoch is getting a buff, increasing the knockback distance, so you're gonna knock him back further. And the Q skill, the lock on missiles, they're gonna increase the range on it by 50. And then Iggy and Scorch, man, I wasn't expecting to see Iggy and Scorch here, but I guess I'm kind of surprised because he has been probably the worst character in the game for the very longest time. But Iggy and Scorch, they're going to increase the turret base health, increase the health growth. They are going to decrease the skill range by 50. They're going to decrease the mana cost. So that is all for the Q skill. And then the E skill, I guess the steroid or the damage apply, it's 0.13. Now they're going to increase it to 0.22, and then increase the duration from 3 seconds to 2. Pretty cool buff there for Iggy. The problem with buffing and nerfing Iggy is whenever you buff Iggy, it makes him really strong in that solo lane. It makes him really hard to deal with in the solo lane. And if you're buffing his turrets, it's going to be harder for the solo lane to clear those turrets, like the other melees. So yeah, we might see some more Iggy's in the game now in the solo lane. Sevarog is getting buffed, which I'm actually surprised he's getting a buff. But before, whenever you get a stack, it was 3 per stack. Now it's 4.2. So they're going to give me a lot more health. And then the adjustments on the shoulder pads, it's 10 to 40. Now it's 20 to 100. More health for Sevarog overall late game. That is scary. That is pretty scary. And then Kalara getting a little buff, increasing the movement speed on her Q skill. Another buff that I'm kind of surprised they did, because I think Sparrow's still pretty good ranger, but they buffed her again. They buffed her last patch, and now they're buffing her again. So the right skill is going to be 0.75, now it's 0.78. They're going to decrease the mana cost. I'm sorry, increase the mana cost of the steroid and E skill, but decreasing the cooldown from 18 to 14, now 15 to 13. The ultimate, they're going to decrease the duration of the ultimate, 5 to 7 to 5 to 6 now, but they're going to increase the power from 0.4 to 0.5, now 0.55 to 0.65. So overall, the damage is going to be increased from the right click, the ultimate, and then decreasing her cooldown on the E. So Sparrow, I'm surprised again they gave her a buff. But yeah, she is going to be definitely one of the top hunters, or top rangers, sorry, along with the Yin. Sparrow's going to be up there. Okay, so that is it for the hero and balance changes. Let me know what you guys think. I'm really surprised we didn't see Nadal or Crunch. I think those guys are really good. Really surprised we didn't see those characters. Okay, now to the item balance changes. So the Mitre of High Priest, Mitre of High Priest, is going to get rid of the cooldown, but we're increasing the health by 100 and decreasing the gold by 100. So I think that's kind of a little win. It is a little bit easier to get cooldowns in the game. There's a lot of items that have cooldowns, so this might be a little dub. Just getting it cheaper and getting a little bit more base stats on your character. Mana Black Hole. This is crazy. Decreasing the hero's receive magical damage by 15%. Now we're decreasing the hero's magical damage by 20%. So that's pretty huge. That's going to be with the other base stats that it has. This is going to be a really good item, I think. Sweet Life, there's a lot to read here, but basically they're decreasing the max health and max mana received every 5 seconds. But it's going to be the recovery effect is activated every 5 seconds. So it's going to be proccing more often, essentially. Mathematician's Intro to Architecture. Every time you use an ability, you get a stack. After a successful stack of 2 stacks, you're going to deal bonus damage. So now they decrease the internal cooldown. So it was 3 seconds, now it's 2 seconds. So they decrease the internal cooldown. And they increase the power by 10. And increasing the health gain back by 20%. So this item is really good. Also, while reducing the cooldown to 3,000. This is going to be a really good item to build into. Another good mage item that we're going to be building into a lot more is Gloves of Jealousy. This one I'm already building into now. I really like this item, especially late game. The cooldown is 2.5 seconds, and it does 75% of your overall magical power. So whenever you deal damage with a basic attack after you use an ability, that basic attack is going to hit for 75% of your magical power. Now they're making it towards 1.5 seconds. So that's really like, if you can do it correctly, you use an ability, you auto attack, you wait a little bit, use another ability, you auto attack. If you can time your auto attacks just enough in between those abilities, your DPS is going to go crazy on mages. And in a prolonged team fight, this is going to be really, really useful. Also, they're increasing the power by 5 overall. So Gloves of Jealousy is going to be a really good item to pick up. And now we're going to get into some mana buff items. So the Aquinas Trick, the mana item, before was power was 60, now it's 500, or mana 500. Now it's 55 power, but the mana cost is going to be increased by 300, or 400, sorry, 400 more. So that's really huge. This item is more of this item right here is your overall power increases with how much mana you get. So even though it shows a 5% or 5 power loss, increasing it by 400 mana, actually I don't know the math on it, but it's a lot better than the 5 power. And then the other item that's Player's ID, magical power is 65, 400 mana, cooldown 10. Now 70 power, mana is 500, so another increase. So magical power increase here and magical power increase here, because you're going to be stacking it with that. So this would be really interesting to go with like a mana build, getting these items into a mana build and just kind of getting a really big power and getting a really big shield with these 2 items here. Which is wild. A critical hit increases the physical defense by 20% and attack speed by 15. Now increasing your nullification by 25% and the attack speed by 10% for 3 seconds. This one doesn't really matter too much because you're usually going to be having a lot of attack speed already. This is just kind of a little bonus. The 25% whenever you crit is pretty huge. This could really, and then they also increase the gold by 200. This is pretty huge. Crazy that they buffed that one. And then the last couple of things, we have Fruit of Greed. This is being picked up a lot. This is going to change, I think. So for the Fruit of Greed passive, before we're increasing the magical power by 15 and magical defense by 10 for every nearby hero. Now we're increasing by 12 and then increasing the magical defense by 12 for every nearby hero. So a little bit less on the magical pin, but more on the defense side. And then the overall stats is going to change as well. So no more magical pin on the stats, rather you're going to get magical power. The defense is going to get decreased a little bit. You are going to get more health, and the same CDR is going to be the same. I don't know if this is going to be picked up anymore, because you don't really, the beauty of magical pin is you're decreasing the enemy's magical stats, magical defense. So normally you would see these being picked up on tanks, so that would decrease the magical defense instead of increasing their magical power. That way they can do more like true damage essentially to that character. Now that this base stat is no longer there and this is not getting stacked up any higher, magical power scaling isn't that amazing on tanks. So we're probably not going to be seeing this on tanks. The main thing was, you know, you get 15 pin here, and then whenever you dive, you get 15 more pin, so that's 30 pin just off of one character. Now it's only going to be 20 power, so I don't think we're going to be seeing this a lot on tank characters. So next up is going to be Malodorous Spray. Pretty much the same concept of Fruit of Greed, but for warriors. So for this one overall, it's decreasing the physical defense by 5% whenever you're nearby a hero, and then decreasing the flat base stats by 15 or by 5 to go to 15 physical pin. So that's gonna be for the Malodorous Spray. And that is it for the item changes. And then next up, system added improved. I guess this is a bigger topic here, but chat will be disabled in the results screen. So I guess whenever a match is done, you can no longer chat with the enemy, with your team, or with anybody else on the other side of the team. So that kind of sucks, but I don't know. I mean, I guess they're trying to prevent toxicity is the only reason I can think of this one. Other than that, I don't really see much else here that is that big of a topic. But the mage items are pretty good. I think we're gonna get those a lot more. Mages kind of got buffed here. As far as hero balancing, I don't know why Sparrow got buffed. I don't think that was a good buff. Severon got buffed. I don't think that was a good buff. I think he was fine where he was at. Iggy getting buffed is gonna make it really make it tough in the solo lane. We might start seeing more Iggy's in the solo lane, so I'm sorry, you solo laners. And then a nerf on Twin Blast, I don't think it was needed. A nerf on Faye, I don't think it was needed. Grux and Xena, I can see being, you know, they're definitely a threat. I would like to have seen Adele and Crunch. I think those guys are really good. We see them a lot in the competitive scene as well. So I would like to see those nerfs as well, but this is what we got, and we got 2 new skins. But yeah, guys, short patch with the console release coming, or the console testing coming out. I guess we didn't really get a big update. And then we'll get the end of the month update with the new hero, which is probably going to be Marty, and then probably some more little balance tweaks. Let me know what you guys think about the patch in the comment section. What do you like? Do you like the hero changes? Do you like the nerfs, buffs? Were you expecting someone else to be nerfed or buffed? You guys like the item changes as well? Also on Thursday, I'll be doing a podcast. So if you guys don't know yet, it's me, Wolfie, and Ego. We do a podcast every Thursday. I do put it on YouTube every Friday. So we'll be going over the patch notes. So you'll be getting multiple, you know, views, multiple takes on the patch. But yeah, so keep an eye out for that. Everyone take care, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.